Hello, 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 everyone. And Artfully Connected. Thank you for being here. Look at our featured artist tonight is Lydia.
Hi, everyone.
So that is going to be so adorable. I can't wait to get started, but we can't start yet because we've got to let people catch up to us. But it's another lovely Friday night. It started out kind of yucky this morning. We got all that rain that a lot of the East Coasters had last night, and it was coming up to New England. How do you fare up there? Do you get our weather?
I don't think we get quite as many storms as you guys do. It did try to snow today. It wasn't successful, but it tried. It did try. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice.
It tried,
little white flaky bits.
Yeah, we don't want those anymore. We're done. That happened to us one day, I think early on in the week, that my husband woke up and said, "What is this?"
Yeah, we've definitely stepped backwards in that. But I mean, I figured that's what spring is. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. My crocuses are out, so I'm pretty happy. And Easter's coming, so that's all good. And the snow is just about gone.
Yep, my crocuses are there too. So that's really
life
sweet.
is very good. Life is very good.
Yeah, I love it. So I want to just say hello to everyone. Lori, Judy, Darlene, Mary, Barbara, Wendy, Sharon. Thank you all for joining us. Tell your friends if they're members of if they're members of Artfully Connected, they could, you can put their name in the comments and they can be notified to come on in and join us. Hey, Judy. Oh, Judy's hyacinths are out. Mine are just little itty bitty stubbles. I've got the crocuses blooming like you, but and they're all purple. Do you have yellow crocuses?
I have a few, but they do tend to disappear as they naturalize. So I think that the yellow ones must be one of those hybrid kinds of things, and then they all kind of go back to purple and white.
So the yellow ones turn purple?
Well, I think when you get some bulbs that have been manipulated to be the color they are, like even tulips, I think kind of all revert back to the original strain if you just leave them in the ground. Mm-hmm. And there are 2 kinds. There's those bigger ones, and then there's those little tiny ones too. The little tiny ones stay yellow. I do have some yellows.
Okay, mine are about 4 inches and they're all purple, but I do love.
You don't have any whites? You don't have any white ones? Oh, well.
Mine are all purple, but I do love seeing them because they give me hope. And then, like I said, the hyacinths look like a little cluster of berries just close to the ground. And after that, it's the tulips and the daffodils and jonquils and
off we go.
Off we go. Off we go. So thank you everyone for joining us for this lovely Friday evening. I hope that you're finding good weather where you are and you're having the love of my mother-in-law called them posies. Never the real individual name, but she's like, oh, the posies are
posies. I like that too.
And should make her happy. So we hope that you are enjoying some of the posies in your area, if you can. Some allergy season comes out and then we don't enjoy them so much. But well, Kathy says she has daffodils blooming.
Where's Kathy? Somewhere.
Are you Delaware or are you Washington?
That makes sense.
I'm not sure, but
somewhere souther than me.
Yeah, the souther you are, the more things pop up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Earlier than the rest of us. But hey,
it all comes. It all comes. It's all good.
Life it's all good. Yes. It is yes. So show us what we're going to do tonight.
So tonight we're going to do Sweet Chick, and I have a jelly bean story. Some of you may have already heard that, but I do have that jelly bean story that I might just tell one more time, just because it was too funny.
It's kind of like they tell you don't eat poppy seeds before you have to.
Yeah. But I also popped in for next week a soft pastel, so that you could come and maybe hone your skills, have one more soft pastel, so that you could maybe want to join us for the soft pastel Carmen fundraiser that I'm going to be doing. I'm pretty sure everybody knows which one that is going to be.
That is so stunning. So stunning.
And I just wanted to say that it's not that crazy a soft pastel. It's pretty straightforward because the whole point of that is the blue and the yellow. So there's not going to be a lot of cross contamination where I throw colors all over the place and then bring them all back, because yellow has to be taken care of. And you'll see that today too with the chip. Yellow is delicate. So pretty much the yellow stays where the yellow is going to be and the blue stays where the blue is going to be. So it's not a scary class. Just wanted to put that one out there.
So everyone should join us. And if you can't join us or you're not interested in doing the pastels, we do have a donation button, so you can still donate to help the animals in Ukraine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they still need it. They still need it.
They do. They do. So, hey, we have a full house tonight.
All right. So it's time.
Everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here with Lydia. And you know that this is recorded on Facebook, so you will be able to go back and see it over and over again. I will put it under guide number 1, Lydia Steeves, and we will call it its name. And I can't remember what it was.
Sweet Chick.
Sweet Chick. That's what you'll look for, Sweet Chick. And you can find that, like I said, under guide number 1. And if you are watching on the replay, thank you for being here and taking time out of your day to watch us on the replay. Also, too, either live or on replay, you can ask questions in the comments, and I will relay those questions for you. And if it's live, and if it isn't, put a little @ in front of Lydia's name so she is made aware, notified that there is a question for her, and she will answer it at a later date. So I will say, hey, Lydia, take it away.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to start off with white. And we're going to put in the sparkle just, about 10-ish. But it's like a dash, right? It's not just a dot, it's a dash. Okay, and then we're going to sharpen up our black, and we will make the eye black. Okay, and you don't notice how it's sort of tipped down. And they may be small little beady eyes on a real chick, but I just made them maybe just a little bit larger. Here we go. Okay. Just wipe off the little bits there. And then we're going to color in the beak with peach. Yes. Okay. And again, you want to be a little bit careful with the shape, and notice how the top goes over a little bit further, and then the bottom is rounded up. And I was just working on my summer rectangle today, and different birds have different shaped beaks. So, we want to try to keep with the plan. Keep with the plan. Okay. Then we're going to get goldenrod, and we're going to color in the legs and the feet. I actually thought that the feet were a little bit on the cute side this time. Usually we don't really like bird feet. Okay, so, and I would color in the nails as well. And yes, the bottom of the toes were that wavy shape. Okay, so we'll just color in. There we go. And there's a nail on this toe here. So just, you know, like a medium pressure, we want it to actually show, but we don't want it to be too heavy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Nice, fun colors. Apple green. And this is just nice and even coloring. Apple green goes here. And we'll just work from the right towards the left. And then light aqua. I actually did go and buy jelly beans. Here comes my jelly bean story already. I'm going to tell you the jelly bean story. Although I didn't buy them specifically for this project, I bought them for another project that's coming. Okay, while we talk, we also have to keep coloring. Blush pink is the next one, because Easter jelly beans are specific colors. So I did Google them, and this is what came up, all these different colors. And then my daughter and I went to Michael's, and we were looking for ribbon, because I like to sometimes put ribbon around the edges of these critter squares. And I was severely disappointed in the choice that Michael's had. Parma Violet is next. Parma Violet is going to be the next one. And I thought, my goodness, there's like no Easter ribbon. Turns out, of course, we were too early. They were just doing their changeover. So while I had already purchased some, and this is pretty fun. I mean, I don't dislike this one, but I was actually looking for jelly beans. So then my daughter found actual jelly bean ribbon, but I had already done this, you see. So that meant that I had to think of another design. So I am thinking of another design for next year already. But I went to purchase a big bag of jelly beans for my display so I could take a picture of it. And it's actually Cindy's fault, because she gave me this big jug that said holiday treats or something, holiday something or other. I can't remember what it said, Cindy. Canary yellow is our last jelly bean. Oh.
Isn't it in front of you?
No, because I've banned that big jar now because I get into trouble with it.
You can put your pencils in it.
I could do that. You're right. It's not just for sweet things, is it? Okay, so I'm going to have to. Can you mute me? I'm going to.
Sure. Well, you can just do it. Go ahead. We like to.
Okay, here we go. So we're coloring away with canary yellow. So I went to go buy this big bag of jelly beans. I took my picture, took several pictures, and now I have, you know, all my photos, and it's pretty great. And then I started eating them. And I forgot that I had to go for a blood test. And so then the nurse phoned me and said, you know, your urine sample is like got plus glucose in it. And I said, well, I have been eating jelly beans for like 24 hours straight. Well, too bad. She says you still have to come in and do another fasting test to see if you have diabetes. I don't have diabetes, because the whole point is that I was eating jelly beans for 24 hours straight.
That'll teach you.
That'll teach me, exactly. Canary yellow. We are working on canary yellow. And we're just coloring in the chick with little short lines. And it doesn't show all that much, but you know, yellow's not a super strong color, so we're okay. So go in between your graphite lines and make it a little fuzzy edge. So anyhow, I found the perfect bunny. I was at the shelter the other day, and I think I found the perfect bunny for the project. So I think we've got Easter taken care of for next year too. All right, so just color it in, color it away. And I would say, you know, try not to actually cover your graphite lines with this color. It doesn't matter if you do a little bit, but you're going to want to probably take off the transfer lines. Okay, so here's a little wing here at the left, and here's a little wing down here. They don't have a great shape, these little guys. Okay, just keep on coloring them in. But you can kind of see, maybe even if you have a look at this at the very, very last, you can see how they're swooped to the left, and then they come down, and then they swoop to the right, and then there's down in the middle. Okay, so that's the general direction that you're doing this. But you know, you don't have to, like I say, they don't show up all that much. Just kind of get it in your mind how you're going to do it when we get to the next few colors.
So Linda's saying, she goes, I have to get some colored pencils and try this. What kind of pencils do you use?
I'm still stuck with the Prismacolors. I like the way they work. They're a little bit difficult in some ways because they're very soft, and so they do break a little bit easily, a little bit easier than the other ones, but at the same time they have really good coverage and pigment, so I put up with it. There we go. So I've got him all done in canary yellow. Okay, so yeah, just make sure your edge is feathery, and we're going to be working away at that now. And I use the OMS, Linda, and anybody else who's new to my technique. It's just what I've decided works really well for me. So I put it in these pens, these water brushes, and you should be able to find those anywhere in an art supply store. I think in Michael's they probably still have them. They have them too. And I put that odorless mineral spirits in, and then I put this on everywhere. So you can see that I'm going to just avoid that black eye for now. It does pick up color, so you want to make sure that you either use it on the black last, or you know, wipe your tip between colors if you need it. But you know, I mean, it doesn't. You just have to be careful with yellow. Yellow is a very, very delicate color, like we were saying. Okay, so here again, I might take care of my pink a little bit too. And then there we go. And so if you have your graphite on maybe just a little bit dark, make sure that you get some OMS on that as well, because that's going to help you take off your graphite lines. Okay, we're going to get right to those jelly beans. We need grass green next. And we're going to shade along the bottom and around the sides and a little bit at the top with these little tight circles. Really super tight little circles. Super light touch as well. And with a darker color, you can definitely just grab your transfer lines and incorporate them into, or cover them up. So the darker colors, very easy to do that. And it is easier if you have a sharper pencil. Okay, so I'm just going right on top of my transfer line there too. All the way along the little foot. And so you're just, as you're coming towards where we're going to be wanting a highlight, you have to release your pressure and fade it off. Super important for these little things. So nice point on your pencil, and you have to fade it so that you can't see where one color moves to another, one value. So I've got a little bit of highlight right there. Next color is going to be aquamarine. Same thing. It's sharp. I'm going to go right on top of my graphite lines, tight little circles, and fade it as I get towards this area right here is going to be the highlight area. It's kind of fun, actually. Lots of beautiful colors and just like coloring in, making things look round, very satisfying.
Here's a question from me. Amy, you know, Amy Mogish, right? Classic Amy. And she was saying that she never tried the OMS and she was wondering how it would work on wood, on a wood surface. Do you think it would behave the same way like is on your paper surface in blending the pencil?
I would think so. I would think so. Because it would dry. As long as it dries clear, and I probably should. And now she's painting on the wood surface, right?
Directly, yeah.
Got acrylic on there first.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it should work.
I have to try it one day. I think I have some lavender scented OMS. Ooh.
Yes, there's some sniffy things. Okay, so now we've got Carmine Red, and that one is going to go over top of the pink. Carmine Red is a great color. Well, I like it. It's almost pinkish itself. So you've got to go way down deep in here. Make sure that you're touching all the transfer lines so that we don't have to worry about them and having to take them off. And sometimes when you have a little shape behind another shape, it's a little bit harder to see exactly how to fade it, but it's still the same idea. We're trying to keep that a little bit light, but it's no good if you stop your shade too abruptly. You have to have it gradually moving through. Dahlia or Dahlia Purple. Another great color. Okay, down here at the bottom, and you just bring it up. So if anybody's interested in Tammy, my little foster kitty, apparently a family has fallen in love with her, and she's probably going to be adopted this weekend.
And that is she the gray one?
She was a tabby.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess she's technically called a Torby, so she had some orangey bits on her, so she was striped.
Orangey bits, okay.
Okay, so then we get to the yellow. Always that yellow. We're going to go with Sunburst Yellow. And truly, you're not really going to see a lot of it, but you're going to do it anyways, and it will show up eventually. Try not to drag it into the purple and to, bring it over. And you really can't cover your graphite line. So we're going to have to actually remove that graphite. And we can do that. And so just, color it in. It's a nice color. And then we're going to take our 00, making sure it's clean. And we're going to blend each one. So just again with those little strokes, those little circle strokes, because these are pretty smooth jelly beans. There we go. And I'm going to be a little bit careful. I'm going to clean them between.
Okay, so Linda's asking, is it best to get a full set of colors when starting out, or is there a smaller set you recommend?
So if you don't want to buy the full set, I mean, there's always going to be colors that you'll have to go buy extra, and there'll be always colors that you're not going to use in a set. So it really doesn't matter. You can buy them all singly if you want to. I find that if you like, don't spend extra for a box. If you can get them individually for cheaper, then just go for that and pick up the ones that you want. Because I know that lots of people say, well, you know, I've got, let's see, what is there, 150 to begin with? Like there's a full set's 150. I've got 100 and I still had to go out and buy pencils. Well, that's, yeah, just the way you have to do it, unfortunately. There we go. Not to say that if they're not a good deal, pick up a set.
Yeah, I always find that you still need, they don't put all the colors you need in there. So
They just don't. No, they just don't. Okay. So we've got some nice little jelly beans. Now, if you need to, and you have your graphite that you would like to take off, I use this kneaded eraser. Now, notice how you are picking up color. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Fold it over and then do a couple more. Fold it over and do a couple more. And just take off what you need to. You might not need to take everything off, but you need to take off a little bit if you have it on a little bit dark, which is almost impossible not to do. But I don't think we need to do any more there. Sunburst yellow, I'm going to just put that back on. There. Okay, so we're good to go. And now we're going to get cad orange hue. And we're going to do a little bit of shading on the legs and the feet. So we will shade where the little legs go into his furry little area there. And we'll come down the sides a little bit. And I'm just stroking it on. They're just thin little legs. There's not a lot of space to do too much, but we want to just do the edges of the legs. And then we've got some divisions. So you can see there's a division here so that this is a separate toe from that. We've got the same thing here, another toe, and then maybe a little bit along the bottom. Okay, so along the bottom here, disappearing in the jelly bean, and then see if you can't find this toe and barely touching. It's just so light. Don't bother with the toenails. Okay, so just a little something along the bottom here. Not too much. Like I say, they're just little tiny things. And we could rub with the 0, 0. All right. Moving right along. We take that sunburst yellow again, and we're going to shade a little bit on the beak, just up close to the face. And it's, again, it's not, you don't see a lot of it. It's just that the beak wasn't pink, but it wasn't quite orange either. So I've just dashed in a little bit of sunburst yellow there. And then let's take a sharp cad orange hue, and we will find the lip line here. Try to get that curve. And, you know, I sort of said something about a nostril. You could put a little nostril in here. We'll take our white and we'll do a little bit of highlighting. Oh, hang on. Let's just do a little bit more actual shadow where the beak hits the face. I mean, really not touching it very much. You're not really coloring so much. You're just kind of touching a little bit. Such a small area. You don't really need big strokes. Okay, so now we've got our white. And we want to have a nice little highlight. And that kind of burnishes too. So right at the tip, bring it out. Maybe we'll do a little something down here too. It burnishes and kind of blends and smooths too. And you might think that you're taking off all your color, but that's okay because we're going to add more back. Things always look better with a bunch of layers. And we're going to go back to our sunburst yellow. And we're going to find our little wing bits here. So we're going underneath the wings. So now all these little areas were little tight circles. Now we're going to do more of a linear stroke. And you're not going to make it tight. This time you're going to leave some space in between your strokes because you're going to want to have this linear texture, and we need all the colors to show. So there is the beginnings of a shadow, and we will have another one here. But it's just a little fluffy thing. So, you know, yes, we are starting in underneath the wings, but, you know, this color is going to be a lot. We're going to pretty much color the whole chick. We're just trying to make it a pretty yellow. Trying to make the edge nice, fluffy. Okay, so I'm on the edge and then I'm bringing it in. I hope you can kind of see that. All along the bottom. And I'm going to bring it up in a triangle this time here. Like that. Okay, and so now we have pretty much done that whole bottom part, but maybe I want another tuft right here. And maybe I even want one here. Okay, so we've got the belly done. And we'll continue up on the top of this wing, along the edges, up to the neck. And this side doesn't have quite as much until you get to this neck part. Okay, so remember what I say, you're pretty much doing this whole chickie. I have a few areas here that don't have anything, maybe a couple here that don't have anything, but I can see where I've got my little wing bits. And then we have the head. So this is, let's call that the jawline. So you're underneath the jawline and working up to the head. We're going to do this area behind the eye in front. And then there's a section, like a center section here. Color the back section. Okay, edge again. And have a look at it. Maybe you want a few extra lines on the forehead and the cheek. We can come back. It's good. It's all good. Okay, we will keep building. And like I say, yellow takes a lot of care. It's not a super, you can't, like a dark yellow is not that much different than a light yellow, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. But we want a little bit of extra help. So we're going to take this yellow ochre, and that is a duller yellow. And so that's what we're going to do to really put a shadow in here. We're going to put a shadow under that wing. We're going to put a shadow underneath this neck part. Anywhere where you think, oh, I'm going to lose that shape, I better get another color in there just to help me out. But I'm not going to go all the way around the same way I did before. Maybe I'll put a little bit down here. And that's it. So make sure that you fade that too. That was a lot for photo 1. Now we're on photo 2. So we're going to put that OMS on the chick again. And that is to activate that sunburst yellow and make it a bit more intense. I was pleasantly surprised when I put this on, because usually you can see the effect of the OMS on the darker colors better than the lighter colors. But I thought, oh, this actually makes it really nice, like really yellow. Okay, so I'm just going to tippy tap the whole chicky poo there. Okay, back to the jelly beans. Green jelly bean. We are going to start right up here in this highlight. Back to those little tight circles. And then you're going to fade it into the rest of the jelly bean. Almost the full jelly bean, but it needs to fade. It's super important that you fade it. Okay, so you can see how long it's taking me. I want this to be brightest here, where I really want it highlighted. And then I'm just bringing it in gentle circles down into the shadow. Wipe off your tip because you are picking up color and we don't want it a color before we go into the next one. So we want our apple green and we want our chartreuse. So that is just bringing back the color. So I'm going to start down here in the shadow and bring it towards the white. And most of this is, you know, like I start off with a color and then I put on the highlight, pick a shadow color, and then I keep thinking, well, that's not quite what I want. I needed a little bit of something else. And that something else was chartreuse. And I put a whole layer. There we go. Right over top of everything. And if you have lost your highlight, you can put it back on. I haven't really lost it. I can pump it up, but there it is. One jelly bean. If you decide you need to go back and shadow it, we'll get them all done. And on our last pass, I actually bring some of the lilac in and give another shadow. So it should be looking pretty round and pretty shiny right now. And then we'll finish it up completely in a bit. Sky light, sky blue light, yes. And we're going to go the same idea. This is going to be our highlight right up here. Pressing a little bit hard to get it going. Right where you want your highlight, fade it. But you can take a while to fade. Fade it all the way, almost all the way. There we go. And light aqua was the original color we used. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. Again, circle, circle, circle. Light touch, very light touch. We don't need to put too much on. Yeah.
So why is it some pencils you use the battery operated or electric sharpener and others you use the hand one?
I try to use the hand one because it's quieter.
Mm-hmm.
And often it doesn't, like when you use those battery ones, it's actually a grinder one. I got a new one because I don't know if Cheryl's here, but she would recommended this one. It's a grinder one. It does do a pretty severe job and it eats up your pencils a little bit quicker.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't break the lead. It doesn't seem to break the lead. So,
but there is a difference between grinding and there's like two kinds, right? There's a grinder
yes.
and then a
Yes.
pillar or something.
I don't know. It's just the way it holds or just takes the wood off.
Yeah.
And it comes off in these little bits.
Right.
Okay. But these other ones come off in
sheets, peels.
In like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these ones work, but sometimes you just have to pull out the big guns.
There you go.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, you could say that these ones they don't eat your pencils quite as much, but they do break your leads, or it's more difficult to keep your leads.
Now, I just wondered if one was better for your pencils than another.
The grinders are probably pretty good. I think they tend to be the best. Yeah. All right, where are we now? So we put the light aqua on there. And now we can actually just go with the white and just pop that shine back. There we go. Okay, wipe off your tip. We're going to the pink one. And we're going to do white. Much better to do a bunch of layers than one heavy. Okay, so you can see I keep going back to where I actually want it to be brighter. And then I travel down and then I go back. Much better to do it that way than a super heavy application. So we've got the white, and then we're going to just bring our pink back. And maybe a little bit more white right where we want it. There. Okay, purple. We're going to use white for that highlight. Okay, keep looking at your tip so that you don't put pink into the purple one, although that's not that big a deal, but you always want to make sure that you know what your tip looks like before you jump into an area. And you can really see the highlight going on with this particular contrast. You can see what way I'm doing it. Going back up here, getting that a little brighter, coming back down. Wipe off my tip. And now I'm going to add some lilac. There we go. Do you need more white? Now I have noticed, I've done many of these now, little critter squares, where I have actually put the varnish on it afterwards, like I've sprayed it, and then I have actually used a brush on varnish. Quite often, the purples change. See that one? Quite different, actually. And I noticed that on the chickadee one, the centers of the sunflower, that was a long time ago, but still, that changed. And there was another one that I noticed too. So sometimes colors do change when you put that brush on varnish. Just something to keep in mind. All right, so here we go to pesky yellow jelly bean. We're going to try that neon. If you don't have neon, I think lemon yellow is pretty good. Oops. See, that one broke, so I'm going to do my big guy. And there we go. It's pretty nice. Pretty darn nice. Neon yellow. We are going to highlight this yellow jelly bean. And I don't know how much you can actually see on the TV screen, but it is working. At least it's brightening it up. And then we'll add some white. Okay. And then let's just see, goldenrod might be a good little bit of shadowy kind of at the bottom. And we will also do just a little tiny bit where it disappears behind the purple. Okay, well, I think that looks 3D. Hopefully you think it looks 3D as well. And back to the beak. And we're going to peachy up the beak again. So right over top of your orange and your white. And if you have heavy graphite lines there too, you might need to just take a little bit off. But you can see that I left some. You don't want to take it off completely because you do want to see a little bit of your beak. And it's kind of close to the background color, so you don't want your beak to disappear completely. So just take a little bit off there. And then I'll put the peach on again. And for this project, I really found the lilac was a lovely shadow color. So we're going to take lilac and we are going to do a little bit of a shadow right where the beak meets the face. And you'll notice that I don't do it exactly the same, like, no, don't trace it all and come underneath everywhere. Just kind of go in those little triangles and pull it out and a little bit there and pull that out too. And if you think you need to add the white or the peach and soften that, you can. Maybe you'd like to put the white back on too. Okay. And while we have the white out, we are going to highlight the feet and we're going to put these little striped socks on. See, there's got little socks. So we're going to make those. I got 3 or 4. And we will highlight the top of these toes. And you'll find that the white breaks. So you have to be a little bit careful with that. It's almost inevitable that it will break on you though, especially if it's sharp, which it needs to be. And make sure you've got the little toes, the toenails. And so that you don't have a lot of space to do a highlight, but you still want to try to make it so that it's not just a stripe of white. These are stripes, but not this. Try to make those fade a little bit. I don't think I would do the back foot there. Here's another toe. And we'll do the top of this one. And it's not going to stay this color, so you can bring it a little farther than you think you might want, because we are going to make it a nicer yellow. Okay, so look at your chick now. So we've taken a little off the nose, the beak, we've done this one here. Maybe I would do the pink egg. We'll see if I decide. But you might want to spend just a little time to take off the edge of your chick here. Remember what I said? You can only do a couple of little presses and then you have to change and fold in your kneaded eraser. There, okay. For these ones in here, sometimes I use that this perfection eraser. It's kind of hard, but it will go in there and take off or at least it will remove enough that you can cover it. Okay, so you could do this. If it gets a little smudgy, that's when you will pull out your kneaded eraser and just like, take a little bit off. Take the smudge off. Oh, I know which one I hated. I didn't like this one. Ultimately, I don't want this here. It was an indication to make that indentation, but we don't actually want a line there. It's not a cat. All right, so we've taken off a bit. And so now we're going to take this lilac and we're going to put in our shadow. So I have a very light touch. And you're going to go underneath some of these little lines, indications. Yep, underneath this one. Make sure that you're with the flow of the feathers. Now, sometimes when we do things like this, for instance, right here, we do it really super tight and liney, like we just kind of do this. And you would say that you did it the right way as far as having it fluffy under, like you have a kind of a fluffy edge and then puffing it down below. But that is not going to make you look 3D. It's going to make it look more like a zebra. So when you do something like this, you are coming further than you think. So you need to come right up into your shape, into your little wing shape. And then you need to pull some quite a bit further downwards. And then sometimes you can join into another one. Maybe we'll do some on the edge. But again, when you do it on the edge, you have to pull them into the yellow. Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference between this wing and that wing. This looks like a nice little soft shadow, little armpit shadow there, whereas that is a stripe and really doesn't really make it look 3D. So to fix something like that, I would just, it seems strange that you wouldn't want to take it off, but in actual fact, you actually want to make it bigger.
Norma says, I love this, Lydia, and you are so patient.
Even when I eat too many jelly beans and I have a sugar rush. Thank you very much, Norma. Okay, so over here. And we'll do a little bit on the edges. Do a little bit of a sketchy stroke. I think sometimes we're just way too conscientious. And a sketchier stroke is much, much better. Light and sketchy, and you can always do another layer later. A little bit on the fluffy side. Fluffy, fluffy. All right. We'll leave that for a bit. We'll nip down and, oh, look at that. We are on photo number 3. And what color do we need? Oh, we need that sunburst yellow again. Okay, we are going to put sunburst yellow over the legs and the feet. And you can just color it in with gay abandon. And then, of course, you can repeat anything you like. For instance, I made the nails a little bit whiter. They didn't seem to be the same color as the legs and the toes. And if you want a little shadow, pick up your lilac again and put it in where you would like. Okay, so where these legs go up into the little fuzzy body, and maybe just a little bit where we had, what color was that? That was the cat orange, right? There we go. Now don't come along the bottom of the toes, because you can see we're actually going to shade the ground. Okay, so usually we would carry this along. We did the orange along there, but this time we're not going to bring the purple. We're just going to do that for the separating of the toes and where those little guys go up. And if you think you need to add a little bit more highlight, you can. If you need to put the yellow back on top, you can do that too. So you can repeat. Repeating is good. Because a little bit under the toes and the beans. So right in here, go horizontal, of course. And a little bit underneath this bean.
What size moon scrubber do you use, Lydia?
Well, pretty much I've just been using the 0. That was for there, but we could change to just the 0 for the body in a little bit. But it's nice to have that double 0. Okay, where are we? So I did find that the purple by itself wasn't enough. And so I added some of that cad orange hue. I don't know if I wrote that in the packet, but you might want to do that too. And then we can put the OMS on. And let that blend. There we go. And you could rub it. And then you can see on that final one that I went back in and did just a little bit more right underneath the toes, so that you have a little bit further out and then a little bit more as you come closer. Just kind of helps makes them sit down. All right, back to little Chicky Poo here. I'm going to put that OMS on here again. Maybe not quite as much. And you know what? I'm going to just rub that eye. There we go. And I just did the white again. You want the eye to be cute as a chicken eye can possibly be. I don't know how cute they are. Okay, so now we're going to do this white on our little chick, just to make sure that we get some texture. And I'm just going to put a little bit of white around the eyes, not completely around the eyes, but there, that kind of brings it out. Okay, so then we're just going to take this white, and remember the gay abandon, we put the canary yellow on when we first put that on. That's what you're going to do here now too. So I'm rotating my pencil, kind of keeping it rotated so that I keep it wearing down evenly. And I am putting on lines, letting the yellow show through, but you really want to get some direction now. Really flip your strokes left and get a nice fluffy look. Okay, so now you can see that it's fading a little bit, getting a little bit mushy. That means that I need to sharpen my pencil. And when it's first sharp, you have to be careful with it. Okay, so really get that direction going, otherwise you won't be fluffy. Make sure that you bring some lines over top of that purple. Okay, we want a nice little skirt here. I'm going to sharpen it again. And we'll be a little bit more careful up here because there's shorter feathers. But you still can see the yellow. And it's not, so you can see how different your application is throughout the piece. Okay, so down here we were trying to make something really super smooth, little tight little circles, and up here it's a little bit freer. You can see what I mean by the white, but that's just the way white is, and we're fine with it. There we go. Okay, so now I would say that he is texturized, and I do have a free whip video on my website if you would like to have, a little bit more, or whenever you want to, when you forgot, you think, what the heck was that she was yapping about? And you might nip over there and do that. Okay, so now back to yellow, back to that canary yellow. And we will make him yellow again. And you could, you can go back and forth and back and forth. Okay, so he is pretty yellow already. Maybe he's a little scruffy looking. So this yellow is going to help bring those white bits to a light yellow. And it's going to smooth him out a little bit too. So this can go over the white, it can go over the yellow, it can go over the lilac. And if he's not smooth enough for you after this step, we could take the moon scrubber and we can soften him up a little bit. Okay. And you can see you're picking up little bits as you're going along. Just be careful when you sweep them off your little piece. I don't know what's going on right there. Let's see if I can put a little white on there and clean him up. He's got this little spot. Okay, so, and you see how the purple changed? It's not purple anymore. It's just, it's a really nice way of shading your yellow. And of course you could put your, if you needed to put your yellow, this sunburst yellow on, if you wanted him a little orangier, you could do that. I don't know if I want that though. Maybe in a couple spots. And just make sure that your scrubbers are clean. Okay, and then you can soften them up even a little bit more. They're a quiet group there, Cindy.
Yeah. Nelkie said she went to the Tractor Supply today and they had dozens of baby chicks out for sale and they were so darn cute and peeping like crazy. They are cute.
They are very cute. I was trying to figure out what to do because we did bunnies last year and I thought, well, what are we going to do a duckling, but I did ducklings too. So I thought I've never really done a chick. So. Okay.
But you got a bunny too. You're going to do a bunny next week.
Well, I am going to do a bunny. It's not going to be a critter square though. I think it's going to be a bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to put this around it. Still going to do it on one of these though, I think.
Right, and that's a critter square.
Yes, it is a critter square, but I meant on one of this kind of surface.
Yes.
So that I can use this ribbon.
That's going to be awesome.
My daughter bought me. All right. So what else did I say that I did?
Everybody's mesmerized, by the way.
Jelly beans are fun to do. They really are. And then chicks, of course, they're just plain cute.
Well, you're making us hungry with the jelly beans, by the way.
I know, but this is a.
You want to move it up a little bit? Push it up a little bit?
What's that? Oh, sorry. Talking about jelly beans, and I'm telling you that there's no jelly beans in this house.
Not anymore, because you ate them all.
Well, that is true, of course.
She didn't share, ladies.
Well, I did try to share, but my husband figured out that we were eating too much sugar sooner than I did. All right, I'm just playing now. I'm just playing. So that's it. I think that's it.
That's it.
I know, terrible situation.
It is.
But you can, like I say, you can, oh no, let me just think. Didn't I say that we were going to put some, if you wanted to have another shadow on your jelly beans, you could take that lilac and maybe put a little something, just where you wanted it to tuck in a little bit more. I don't know, maybe you don't. You have to be a little bit careful. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. We have a chicken beans.
Well, you're going to come back on to your...
Oh, and I can show you what I've got for you for next month.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, hold on one second. Carol's asking, what could you use if you don't have lilac?
Boo. Really? Oh dear. Because lilac was my key color. I know. The Parma Violet, maybe the Parma Violet. It's a bit darker. This is Parm, and that's the lilac. Hmm.
Oh, well, I put that in there.
I would say that's a shop-worthy event for tomorrow.
Yeah, Carol said she couldn't find it.
Really?
Yeah, Dixie said, such a fluffy, fluffy chick. So adorable. Thanks for the update on Tammy. So glad we will be, oh, she will be adopted soon. Thanks for another great Friday. Chicken beans is too cute.
In beans. I'm still looking for another color that would do it. I'll keep looking, but lilac was pretty great. I would maybe try the Parma Violet.
So there you go. Try,
That
show
might-
us, show
yeah.
us what next week's is gonna
Oh,
be again.
Right. So if you do follow all my photos that I have been doing, this little guy was my first chipper of the season and he peeked in my window. So I felt that he deserved to be a critter square. So that is what's going to be next in
He's
May.
so cute.
May?
You can just
Yeah.
pet him. You can just pet him.
He was a very cute little guy and I couldn't resist. I got lots of ideas. All of a sudden I've got too many ideas, but
And that's in colored pencil too, right?
oh yeah, yeah, the color pencil works. Works for me. I've got so many acrylic patterns on my website already. You know, I mean, it's color pencil seems to.
Right, so I put the link to your website in here. I also put the link to where they can find the moon scrubbers and the OMS, the water brushes.
Yeah, I don't sell those. You just have to go to any store.
Right.
And get water brushes, yeah.
Yeah, so there's the bunny for next week. He's so beautiful, Cadbury.
Yes.
And also to come back every month for Lydia and Amy Mogish, Deb Antonik, and my goodness gracious, we've got a lot every month. So
Yeah.
tell all your friends and join us and join Lydia for Carmen.
Yes, please do. And like I say, if you've tried one and you thought, I don't really like pastels, we've learned a lot from the very beginning of when we did Corabelle, our first bunny. We know what kind of paper we like now. We know how to apply it a little bit better. And like I say, this one isn't too crazy where I throw colors all over the place and then bring it back. She's a black kitty. The sunflowers are yellow. And I do recommend, though, that you get either a Rembrandt or another kind of pastel that has a bit more pigment to them to get the real nice sunflowers. And I do give you some choices in the packet.
Right, it's in the description under upper webinars as well.
I think you'd be happier.
You're gonna go with the regular 24, but you're gonna add extras to give that little punch.
3. You're gonna add 3
extras. Okay, so Robin says, thanks so much. Any tips? Thanks so much. Any tips working with OMS?
Tips.
What kind of tips?
Well, I don't know what kind of tip. We're basically what I like is with the OMS is that it makes it go a little faster because you don't need to color 14 layers, maybe only 5 or 6. And then you get to blend with your little brush. And then that's how I get the smooth, sort of fluffy. I like the look of my fur with that combination. It works on jelly beans though too. Did you see how nice it worked? Very, very nice on jelly beans. But again, I do have another free demo on my website. I've got lots of free demos on my website, or like technique things, like specifically technique things. So if you're at all wanting to find like a little bit more about something, then jump over and have a little look. There's lots of information there. There's tons of information.
Carol's asking, is it easy to do pastels? I bought some, but haven't taken any of your classes.
Yeah, I think it is. It's again, it's like a nice colors, and that's the best part for me. And then you can see, it's not as detailed as the colored pencil, but we were just chit-chatting a little while ago. When you sit on your couch you can see what you've done tonight if you've done it in pastels. And you just layer them, same idea as other things. Put a few layers on, and then you put another layer on, and you put another layer on. Definitely come next week if you are kind of interested, and don't be afraid of Carmen. Carmen is not a hard one. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun, pretty colors for a good cause.
Definitely for a good cause. So we're sending all the money minus the credit card fees, of course, to the
Vets Without Borders. I mean, we just sent another vet. One of our Canadian vets was heading off there just the other day too. So, I mean,
wow.
People are helping out all over the place. It's nice.
Wendy said the pastel videos on your site really helped her understand how to set things up.
Oh, good. Yes, I do have a couple of those. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, please go check it out. You can go to alphawebinars.com and check on those. Come back here for more Lydia next Friday night, same bat time, same bat channel or Pete channel.
Well, it's a new thing. So, we need to see it a couple of times. And
yeah.
Why is that we can do it too?
And you also can go into guide number 1, which is Lydia Steeves' own guide in this group, and you can go see. I put the name of the project, and I put pencil, pastel, or acrylics next to it, so you know which ones are in what medium. So you can go and try any of those little critter squares as well, and work on it and hone your technique.
Yeah, you get better. Everybody gets better. Even I get better when you do
Practice
more.
makes perfect, right? Who
It
said
does.
that? What wise person said that, right?
And these are fun. Let's be fair. It's fun.
So Robin says, thanks for the encouragement, and tonight was great. And
Good.
Carol says, I'm going to try this bunny pastel, and if it goes well, I may try Carmen.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
That's what we want you to
Excellent.
do. Yay.
Yeah.
So Lydia's going to go and check out more of what you all said. And if I missed anyone's comments, sorry, she'll go check it out and read it and respond. So if you have any questions on the replay as well, go ahead and ask your question, put a little @ in front of Lydia's name. She'll answer your questions as soon as she can. And have another wonderful weekend. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye. Good night.